Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to learn about Matplotlib. It's a Python library for visualization. So let's take a step back and understand why do we need to learn about visualization. So if you're a data scientist and analytics, you would like to understand what the data is. So there is some input of data that is given to you, and you want to see what are the patterns within the data. And so that's one component. You can do an exploratory analysis of the data using some of the graphs. You'll see where the highs are, where the lows are, where the certain patterns and so on. So visualization is very important there. And most importantly, when you do the analysis, most likely you're going to talk to some business entities or your bosses who are mostly have business background. So for them, the equations and the amount of data or those things are important, but the most important thing is to understand your results and the data that you used. So the best way to present that is through images or to the graphs and plots, which if there is any experienced manager or business manager, they'll probably have seen so many of them. So it is best to learn some patterns in which we can present these graphs. And also, so there are two. So overall, I would say the visualization is important to understand the data as well as to present the data. So today we are going to learn about Matplotlib. If you are using Python for data science, Matplotlib is going to be very important foundational subject that one has to know to be able to do visualization in Python. Okay. So there are many other packages such as Seaborn, Bokeh, there is some Cloud9 and so on. But this is going to be foundational. You can pick up other as you go on. We are going to talk about Seaborn as well in our later lectures. But today the focus is Matplotlib. So what I'm going to do today is actually give some theory or explanation about the terms that the computer needs to know to be able to draw the data in the form of graphs or plots. So what are the terms that we need to do? So before that, let's try to understand what is an image and through an example. Okay. So if you're probably, if you have seen some scientific articles or news articles, if there is some kind of a data that is presented, usually what you would see is something like, first of all, you will see some area, right? So where let's say this is a figure. So I'm using actually the terms that are used in Matplotlib, so bear with me. Let's say I have a plot here, some lines, some trends, some, let's say, year 2018 versus 2017, okay? And then, you probably have some kind of a legend. And there, let's see the distribution of various income classes. Maybe you'll draw it as a pie chart. Class A, class B, and class C. And maybe you have a distribution of let's say various professions. So you have a number of people working in different areas and so on. So you have and you have and so on. So what you have here is, let's say, you can think of number of people with various jobs. This may be like clerks. This may be like software professionals. This may be like banking professionals. This may be people who are working in construction and so on. So you're seeing how much, let's say this is the dollar amount they're earning. So in a given figure, what you're seeing is there is a plot one that explains something about the people in a let's say in a society, and then their classes, and then their particular jobs and how much they're earning. So what you see is a figure and plots here. So how does Matplot, or for visualization, if you are going to use Matplotlib, how do we communicate this kind of information? So the first thing that we are going to look at is figure. Okay, what we said is a figure is the outer layer, the box that we are trying to plot our information in. So so when you think of a figure, you can have a small figure versus a larger, let's say this one is a longer figure. So you need to you can manipulate the figure itself by specifying the size, and the size can be specified with the length and width. We're going to learn how to do this in the coding. So this is slightly wider length and length, right? You can also specify something known as DPI. The higher the value, the better resolution it is. So the second thing that we are going to tell them is to do plot this particular graph, right? So this particular area is known as axis. So we are going to communicate them to the computer, saying that I need axis. So which means for Matplotlib, this is the axis. Okay. So let's understand the elements within axis. So the first thing that we are going to, so let's say you have a figure like this. How am I going to specify where my axis should be? So remember, axis is like a plot within this figure. So let's say I want to specify this is where I want to draw my plot. So what am I going to do? So the way we can specify Matplot or Python is by, this is 0, 0 coordinate, and this is 1, 1 as a coordinate. So I'm going to specify this particular thing by specifying the left and right of this coordinate, and then the width, and then the height. So let's say in this case, my bottom, the left bottom is going to be this area, which is, let's say, 0.6. So I'm going to say 0.6 to the bottom, from the bottom, and then from the left, you go almost about 0.6 again. So to the right, I'm going to 0.6, and first you specify length, which is going to be probably like about 0.3%, 0.3, and this is probably 0.4. So by specifying these dimensions, you are specifying within this plot area, I want to allocate my particular axis in this area. So that's the first element, how to specify a plot. So let's look at what are the elements within an axis. So let's say you have a graph like this where you're drawing a line. Maybe there is another line like this. So what is this one? This is x-axis, and this is y-axis, and then you can have a, maybe you can have a title, you can have a legend here that indicates the graph. So let's write them, right? X label, Y label, X ticks, Y ticks, and then you have title and various plots. Right. So within the plots, you can have like a bar, line, you can have a scatter plot, pie chart, you can have so on. And within these, you can, if you're drawing a line, you can say line style, line width, color, marker size, markers, and so on. So let's look at X label. X label is essentially whatever you're plotting in this area. Y label is whatever you're plotting in this area, and the title is the title of the chart, and X-fix is this particular whatever you have in this one. In case of a bar, you could have some discrete value. In case of like lines here, you can have some continuous values, and then plots is essentially bars. Like in this example, this is a bar plot, this is a line plot, and here you see a pie chart. So we are going to look at all of these terms and draw a few plots using Matplotlib. But fundamentally, what you need to learn from this whole explanation is what is a figure. Is essentially the outline of the whole figure that we are trying to draw. You can specify the dimensions using the length and width of the figure, and you can also optionally specify a DPI. In particular, if you want to draw any plot, you can use something on an axis, and there are various terms that